I know that music companies will hate me for this, but one of these vocals is mixed with the exact Jaycen Joshua's vocal chain.
Going through the same things, the circles that I dance in.
And one of them is mixed with only stock plugins.
Going through the same things, the circles that I dance in.
Could you notice any difference? This could be our new fancy vocal chain alternative. I'm Yek, and here's how to get radio-ready vocals with only stock plugins. Never use this method without applying the settings I explain at the end of the video. Check out our new mixing and vocal templates, all free for members. We had a video about Jaycen Joshua's vocal chain as he revealed in his tutorials. Some comments made me replicate his vocal chain with stock-only plugins and make this video. Adding a low-cut filter at the beginning of the vocal chain would help you get rid of any foot stamps, handling noise, or other low-end rumble that may be picked up during recording. By applying this filter early in the processing chain, you prevent these low-frequency noises from interfering with subsequent effects and processing.
Going through the same things, going through the same things, the circles that I dance in, I lose myself.
Typically, setting the cutoff around 80 or 100 Hz is a good starting point for male vocals, but you may need to tailor this setting based on the characteristics of the vocal recording and the context of the mix. Removing these low frequencies helps to clean up the audio, allowing other processing tools like equalizers, compressors, and saturation effects to work more effectively. Simply open the template and click here. The first effect in this vocal chain is saturation. Although he uses Waves Factory Spectre to do this, any drive or saturation plugin can achieve a similar effect. The drive plugin is a stock distortion effect that emulates analog saturation, adding warmth and harmonic complexity to your audio. It lets you adjust the amount of distortion, shape the tonal character, tone. I add it before any compressor or EQ.
Going through the same things, the circles that I dance in, I lose myself. Going through the same things, the circles that I dance in.
The reason for this is that saturation can shape the tonal characteristics of the audio and bring out more details in the vocal performance. By adding warmth and harmonic richness early in the process, you allow subsequent effects like compression and EQ to work with a fuller and more complex signal, also enhancing the harmonic content and presence of vocals. We're aiming for something very subtle.
Going through the same things, going through the same things, the circles that I dance in.
The next stage in the vocal chain is compression. For this, I'm going to use two compressors in series, working together to achieve a more polished and controlled sound. The first compressor I'll use is a FET, field effect transistor, compressor, which is renowned for its fast attack and release times, as well as its ability to add a distinctive character to the audio. FET compressors are particularly well suited for vocals because they can handle transients with precision and add a bit of coloration that can make the vocals stand out in the mix.
Going through the same things, the circles that I dance in.
I set it to a super fast attack and release, like 5 milliseconds. While fast attack and release times can be beneficial, setting them to 0 milliseconds or extremely close to it can sometimes result in unintended artifacts or an overly aggressive compression effect.
Going through the same things, the circles that I dance in.
These settings allow it to catch and control peaks effectively, while the release characteristics help to maintain a natural and smooth dynamic range. A maximum of 5 decibels of gain reduction is needed at this stage.
Going through the same things, the circles that I dance in.
After the FET compressor has shaped the initial dynamics and we've gotten rid of peaks, it's time to smooth out the vocal more by adding a lazy compressor. This type of compressor often an optical or VCA compressor, is excellent for fine-tuning the dynamics without being too intrusive. Unlike the FET compressor, which aggressively controls transients, the lazy compressor works more gently, allowing it to catch the vocal's overall dynamic range with a smoother touch. Choose a vintage opto and aim for attack times in the range of 20 to 50 milliseconds and release times that suit the tempo and style of the track. I set it to 270 milliseconds for this case. Aim for a maximum of 5 decibels of gain reduction at this stage.
Going through the same things, the circles that I dance in.
The slower attack time helps to preserve the natural transient detail of the vocal, while the longer release time ensures that the compression effect is applied gradually, resulting in a more even and cohesive sound. If you're enjoying this content, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated with our latest videos. 4. Multiband compression. In this stage, multiband compression will help to further refine and control the vocal sound by addressing specific frequency ranges individually. Unlike a single band compressor, which processes the entire signal uniformly, multiband compression divides the audio spectrum into separate bands or frequency ranges, allowing for targeted compression across each band. This approach provides precise control over different aspects of the vocal. However, one common challenge with multiband compression is that it can potentially disrupt the overall balance of the vocal track if not used carefully. This is because each band of the multiband compressor applies its own amount of gain reduction, which can lead to discrepancies in the relative levels of different frequency ranges. I'm going to show you how to deal with that. First, ignore super high and low frequencies. Use only these two bands. For example, in band 2, I adjust the threshold to achieve 5 or 6 decibels of gain reduction.
Going through the same things, the circles that I dance in.
After that, I set the exact threshold amount for the next band regardless of its other settings. As you can see, while I have the same amounts in both bands, they have different gain reduction levels, which may indicate that we're disrupting our balance. I try to get a similar gain reduction amount in both bands by adjusting the crossover bands. I easily tweak the crossover band from here to achieve that.
Going through the same things, the circles that I dance in.
Now, set the attack and release for band 2 to the displayed settings and set the attack and release for band 3 as displayed on the screen. Set the threshold to achieve a maximum of 5 decibels of gain reduction in both bands. Now it's done.
Going through the same things, the circles that I dance in.
In this stage, we try to get rid of some low-end rumble and boxiness using EQ. As you can see, I dip down some harshness in the vocals, which can vary in every project based on the characteristics of the vocal and the key of the music. Even in different sections of the song, you may need to adjust the EQ according to that particular section.
Going through the same things, the circles that I dance in. I lose myself. I lose myself.
This is an important stage to add clarity and shine to your vocals. While the focus of this chain has been on using stock plugins, I make an exception here because Slate Digital's Fresh Air, which is available for free, provides an exceptional tool for achieving this enhancement. It operates by boosting high-frequency content in a way that is both transparent and musical, without introducing harshness or sibilance. The plugin utilizes advanced algorithms to enhance the upper frequencies, making your vocals sound more open and present in the mix.
Going through the same things, going through the same things, the circles that I dance in. I lose myself.
By increasing the clarity setting, you emphasize the harmonics and overtones that are vital for defining the texture and articulation of the vocals. This can help highlight subtle details like breathiness, articulation, and sibilance, which are important for making the vocal track sound more open and vibrant. However, it's essential to adjust this knob with care, as excessive boosting in this range can lead to harshness or sibilant sounds that might become distracting.
Going through the same things, the circles that I dance in.
I usually set it somewhere between 10 and 20. The air knob on Slate Digital Fresh Air will boost the frequencies above approximately 8 kHz, focusing on the very high frequencies that contribute to the sense of space and airiness in your audio.
Going through the same things, the circles that I dance in.
This is particularly useful for adding sparkle to vocals, making them sound more polished and vibrant without the need for extreme EQ adjustments. The enhancement in this range brings out subtle details like the airiness of breath and the fine overtones that contribute to the vocal's presence and definition. Since most DAWs don't include automatic resonance control plugins, it's highly recommended to do it manually with EQ or with the Soothe 2 plugin. It's a must-have plugin that accurately tamps the resonances in a musical way.
Going through the same things, the circles that I dance in. I lose myself.
Another important note is that before you open any plugin, adjust the gain of your vocals manually. This step is crucial because vocals often have varying dynamics across different sections of the track. By setting the proper gain levels before applying any processing, you ensure that each section of the vocal performance is balanced and that the plugins can operate optimally. Manually adjusting the gain allows you to address any significant volume discrepancies within the vocal performance. For instance, verses might be quieter compared to choruses, or certain phrases might have peaks that are significantly louder than the rest of the track. If these variations are not addressed, compressors and other dynamic processors can become distracted by the uneven levels, leading to inconsistent processing and less predictable results.